You guys see why we needed that and peace and all of those things because
Well,
these
welcome,
things happen.
everyone. It's lovely to have those of you who are joining us live and those who are listening to the recording. Welcome too. It's lovely to be hearing from Louise Werter today, a little bit about one of the oils she uses and loves the most, which is lavender. And Louise is a devoted mum to little Leia, and she's a passionate about informed and empowered birth, which I really wish when our kids were when I was pregnant, I had someone like Louise to turn to, because her mission is to shed light on the information women need to feel confident and supported through their whole pregnancy, birth, and beyond. And so she teaches women how to use essential oils to support them physically and with their emotions during this time and through to postpartum and newborn care. So it's lovely to have you, Louise, and we're so looking forward to hearing a bit from you.
Thanks, Nicola. I feel like you introduced me better than I introduced myself. Thank you. Um, I must apologize. I have a toddler. My Leah is around here and she sat through 2 hours of my class now. So I might do my 10, 15 minutes and then need to occupy her.
That's fine. It's lovely to see
I
her.
hope my signal is, yes, this is Leah. And
Yeah.
Leah is what brought me to doTERRA. I was fortunate enough to be introduced by my sister Jess just before I had Leah. And so it was lovely having the oils.
Mm.
During my birth, I had a lovely home birth experience. So I used the oils for calming the mood and for my husband and midwife. Um, and then they've been really great postpartum. And yeah, so I've chosen to speak about lavender because I've loved it from the beginning. It's always the oil that I turn to. And when I don't know what to use, I use lavender. When I don't know how I want to feel for the day, I use lavender. And it always just brings me into a lovely, calm mood. Um, and yeah, I just did a class now with Yasmin, who's a doula, on birth and postpartum, and lavender just comes up so much. So it's really such a versatile oil for sleep, for skin, for newborn, for mood. So it's really, really great. I wanted to share what I use it for. So yeah, definitely in the morning, if I want to feel calm or if I am feeling anxious, lavender really helps ground me or calm me down. I do often struggle with headaches, and I find the tension part. I feel like headaches are often um, can be, multi-level, and so to deal with the tension stress part of my headache, I use it. I inhale it, so it helps me really calm my nervous system down, and then I can pair that with like frankincense to the roof of my mouth, or past tense to just relieve that sort of tension. But the lavender helps more of the stress tension side of the headache. And then I use it daily in my face cleanser with tea tree and frankincense and jojoba oil to cleanse my face. It's in our skin
So
spray.
when you do
So
that
that's for,
in a diffuser, when you
yes.
yeah, lovely.
Sorry, say again, Nicola.
No, I was just saying, so when you do it as a space cleanser, do you use it in a diffuser?
No, no, no. I said a face. Sorry, my facial
Oh,
cleanser.
your facial cleanser.
So in the yeah. So just like the skin spray, but I use jojoba oil as the facial cleanser, and I often just use it as my kind of moisturizer as well, and then with Yarrow Pom afterwards. I've recently got Yarrow Pom, which is lovely. And then yeah, and then it's similar to like the skin spray. So when Leah had any kind of rash, like nappy rash, she didn't get many, but um, they can be frightening. They can look very red and quite sore. And I would apply the skin spray once or twice, and it would have sorted it out. So really great to have the skin spray for a newborn. And then I love to drop lavender on my pillow before sleep. I drop it on either side, and I really find I sleep better with that. And then also often on the mattress for Leah, because she still sleeps in the bed with us. And yeah, I often just lather it on myself before sleep because I love it, and I put it all over myself that I'm constantly inhaling it, as well as in the diffuser. Lavender and frankincense is great, so I alternate between lavender and frankincense, or serenity, or Shinrin Yoku is another one. And then another lovely one for newborns or for kiddies is a tummy massage. So using lavender on the tummy, really soothing and calming for newborns. And it's lovely. I know Dom always says, as the mom, you're also getting the benefits of inhaling the oil when you're giving your kiddies the massage in the feet or on the tummy. So that's really lovely. And then something, yeah, I guess I actually had it prepped for Leah. Recently had dental surgery. She had 4 of her front teeth extracted because we've just had terrible decay. And so for pain, I made the teething roller. So that's lavender, frankincense, and copaiba. And I just had that on hand and applied it to her jaw. And I bought the allopathic medication, or pain relievers, for in case, because the doctors are like, for this kind of pain, I shouldn't play around. And she didn't need it, which was amazing. So using the pain roller, and what I feel was the job that did it was breast milk, actually. She was feeling the pain at night in bed. She woke up once or twice, but she just drank milk and went straight back to sleep. So I didn't even have to use the pain meds. Yeah, so that's lavender. And then I thought to read from Tertia's book, this book, which is called Oil Magic Emotions. It also comes with a lovely compass. I don't have it here with me now, where you can literally choose an emotion you want to feel, or identify the emotion that you are feeling. Maybe you've been triggered. And then Tertia and the people, or Tertia and the authors of the book, identified the best oils for that emotion. And then they've also taken it back to the top, what they call the top 15 oils. So it's the top 10 kits plus 5 extra oils. And that's what they call the top 15, which you can then address any emotion with the top 15 oils. So that's the compass. And it goes hand in hand with this book. Sorry for the noise. So I just thought to read from it. So lavender is, my grandmother would love me to tell you the scientific name. So Lavandula angustifolia. I'm not sure if I say that correctly. It is the oil of communication and contemplation. It helps to soothe us and aid us in our search. Sorry, I've got a phone call coming through. Soothes us and aid us in our search for quietness and rest. It assists communication by stimulating the language parts of our brain, whilst bringing a sense of calm that dispels insecurities and a fear of rejection. So with the oil of communication, it helps us access that part of our brain. And so it helps us communicate more clearly. And I know some people can diffuse it, or do diffuse it, in a room when they are speaking, as it also helps those listening to the speaker or receiving the message, helps them receive it with more clarity. It enhances feelings of calmness, self-expression, and peacefulness, and it counteracts feelings of agitation, insecurity, or suppression. So what's lovely is you can use lavender when you're feeling agitated or insecure, or you feel like you're suppressing an emotion. You can help lavender with supporting the body and to help perhaps bring it to the surface. yeah, that's what I wanted to share. Um, I'm sure I know Dom also mentioned about increasing oxytocin. That's the hormone that's needed for birth. So yeah, lovely oil for birth and postpartum. I would say any phase of life really.
Thanks, Louise. Thank you. Let me just unpin. Yeah, that was lovely. Thank you. I think sometimes we kind of, when lavender is one of the first go-tos, and then when we get our kits, and then we find lots of other oils, and we sometimes don't return to lavender as often as we could or should. And it is such a wonderful one for cuts and wounds, for bee stings as well. We've used it just yesterday. One of the boys staying with us had a bee sting. We put a little bit of bicarb with lavender, rubbing it on. You can use it, dropping it directly into wounds, cuts and wounds. It's got antibacterial effects as well. So it really, yeah, and then it supports us to stay a little bit calm in these emergency situations.
Yeah. Sorry, Nicola. Also, I forgot to mention burns. So if you've got like an oven burn or even a sunburn, when it's still in that burning sensation, then you apply lavender neat. And then when it stops, when you stop feeling the burn, but it's still red, then you'll apply the skin spray.
Yeah. Yeah. And so frequently just dabbing on lavender when there's a burn, until that burning stops. So like every 15 minutes we find is very helpful. Yeah. And if anyone else wants to mention how they add lavender or use lavender, we'd love to hear. A drop or two under the tongue can be very calming, or otherwise a little bit into a couple of drops in water and taking it internally like that, or otherwise a drop in the hand and inhale. Um, yeah, in a tea before.
I've used lavender very successfully for the tingling of what's it called? Like the tingling hands and toes. I used to sometimes get it all the way up my arms. And I only had the top only. And I had the magnificent top 10. And so I remember Googling in the middle of the night when the tingles were really bad. And I took drops internally in a capsule. So I have still found that amazing if that tingling arises of hands or toes. Yeah. So that's a big one I love lavender for.
Thanks, Ken.
Louise, do you have the additional top 5 oils on you?
As in the list of them, do you know what?
I have them here. Oh, yes.
You know
So
what
it's Serenity, Adaptive, Balance, Wild Orange, and Copaiba.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So to say that again, Copaiba, Serenity, Balance, Adaptive, and Wild Orange. I'm going to put it in the chat.
Yes.
I can put it in.
Amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah. Any other questions? That skin spray, I must just like reiterate. I mean, it's been such a godsend for us using it for everything. I mean, we didn't have kids, like little ones with nappy rashes, although I wish I'd had these oils when our kids were little. But we've used it for grazes, wounds, sunburn, any sort of any issue that comes up with the skin. We use the skin spray with the lavender, tea tree, frankincense.
And then obviously we can't forget lavender when it comes to the antihistamine response combined with peppermint and lemon. We obviously spoke about that last week in more detail. So, and so, it just is, that's why they're part of the top 10. These oils are, the uses are just never ending. So lavender, peppermint, and lemon are our antihistamine.
Yeah, the trio for allergies, but even the Advanced Oil Magic book, which is similar to the emotional one that Tertia wrote, but for allergies and hay fever, it's put a drop under the tongue for 30 seconds and then swallow with water. So sometimes we also just can stick with something simple like lavender if we've got that on hand, and just use that. And then the capsule or the drops in water of lavender, lemon, and peppermint also work so well.
Yeah. An incredible, same thing that you've just said. Lavender around your eyes, just diluted lavender around your eyes when you've got itchy allergy eyes. My mom had it when she arrived at our house because of the change of pollen in the air from Johannesburg to Ballito. And within literally 2 minutes, her eyes stopped itching. And it was so, I could see it was an allergy thing. And she said she's got such itchy eyes. And we just did lavender around her eyes and immediately stopped itching.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'll add with well, you mentioned around the eyes. So I guess I know my daughter had a bit of a blocked tear duct, so we do lavender and tea tree as well around the eye. And then also when we've lived overseas a lot and so traveled when Leah was really young. So for the air pressure in an aeroplane, you can also make a roller with lavender and tea tree. Diluted for the little ones, of course, and then you roll it around right around the ear, never inside the ear, and that helps with the air pressure. That and breastfeeding if you can breastfeed.
I love that one.
And
somebody asked, what's the difference between lavender and serenity?
So
do you want to answer that?
Yeah, the Serenity is a blend that has lavender in it, and then it's also got marjoram, chamomile, lang lang, sandalwood, cedarwood, vetiver, and vanilla. So it's just a blend with other calming and soothing oils in them, like chamomile and marjoram. So
yeah, so it's like a level up when it comes to sleep. So Serenity is definitely our sleep oil. But then when you hear about Roman chamomile, it also has histamine responses. So if you don't have your lavender on you and you need anything to do with skin, you're grabbing that sleep oil again with the lavender in it, the Roman chamomile. These are all amazing for skin as well. So I love that our oils never just do one job.
Yeah, I often use Serenity and lavender interchangeably. Okay, any other questions regarding this or anything else? That's wonderful. Someone said Serenity.
I love that.
I use that for sleep and stopped my sleeping pills after 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll maybe add to the Serenity soft gels for sleep. I often wake up with headaches in the morning, and I definitely feel it's with regards to my breathing, I'm like a chronic mouth breather at night. Well, I think during the day too. And it affects how I wake up feeling, or the feeling in my head. And I've tried the Serenity soft gels more consistently in the past week, and the nights that I took it, the next morning I didn't wake up with a headache. So it definitely helped my sleep cycle, or whatever's happening while I'm sleeping. It's definitely doing some job, which is incredible.
So Louise, I noticed the first time I took Serenity soft gels, I literally felt the sensation coming down from the back of my head here down my neck. I was like, what is going on? And I realized my main thing for the tension is I'm a tooth grinder. So I hold my nervous system stress around my jaw and that neck. And if I do, so I don't battle to sleep, but I don't sleep restfully, and it changes my neck tension and what I wake up with Serenity soft gels completely. And so now I take them almost daily because I don't get a headache, but the tension in my neck I wake up with that I lived with without realizing before Serenity soft gels is crazy.
So whenever we talk about the Serenity soft gels, it's always important because there are other oils like Copaiba soft gels and On Guard soft gels. So Serenity soft gels are not Serenity in a capsule. You cannot take Serenity oil internally. So I just want to make sure that we make that really clear. The soft gels are a different product. So there are different ingredients. They work on helping you have a more And so that's what we're talking about when it comes to the soft gels. The question being, when do you take the oil, when do you use the oil, and when do you take the soft gels? I like to think of it as a synergistic system. So if you are really battling with sleep, I love to use them synergistically, the same way I use adaptive capsules synergistically. You can't take adaptive internally, but I love taking an adaptive capsule for the kind of internal support of helping the body. And then for the visceral nervous system linked to the limbic part of your brain through your nasal cavity, you're going to be inhaling the oil as well. So if somebody is really battling, like really needs sleep support, as the ladies have explained, you would be using them synergistically. So you would have Serenity in your diffuser, and you would take 2 capsules at night before sleep.
Yeah,
So
it's a layered approach.
Sorry, next.
Yeah, it's a layered approach. So one can just use, and a lot of people have a lot of success with just Serenity in their diffuser and dabbing it on pulse points or putting it under feet and things like that. But then if you want to up level the Serenity soft gels internally, so yeah, up level that.
Also, there's obviously the Serenity Sleep as part of the Serenity Sleep system, which is also, yeah, there we go. Louise showed off.
Yeah. Which is Serenity Stick I've also used very successfully on bites and stings and things like that as well.
And I found PMS, like emotional volcanism, is supported by Serenity Stick too.
Yeah. I love an adaptive. I love a piece. I'm currently on my piece train, but I went through a stage where for my elevated levels of anxiety, I made a Serenity roller and I just took it everywhere with me. My body was calling for it, not just at night. So it's a really good one for, for anxiety and that kind of thing. So I love that sleep stick.
Yeah, I wanted to share my mom's story. I gifted her one of these. So it's got valerian in it as well, which is great for sleep. My mom wakes up at least once a night to go to the loo. And the nights that she uses her sleep stick, she sleeps right through. So really, and she definitely sees the nights that she doesn't use it, she wakes up, and the nights that she uses it, she doesn't wake up. So it's really great. She loves it, and she forgot it when we went on a trip the other day. So I was like, I brought one for you. So it's lovely to be able to support our parents as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Catherine's asking how many drops. We never know how many drops are in a touch roller because they're proprietary blends. So if I were to go on my own intuitive sniffing things, to make an adaptive roller, I've always used 30 drops. It came the closest to the doTERRA version. When it comes to Serenity, I've done 20 drops and then I've tried it, and then you just gauge from 20 drops what feels the right one for you. So it's very hard because every holistic system and every nose is slightly different. So my advice is start with 20 drops, top with coconut oil, leave a little bit of space so you can go, I need a little more, or this is spot on, but less than 20 drops. I think for a roller as a nervous system support, 20 drops is your minimum, if I put it that way.
I could need to refer to the dilution chart because it depends who it's for and who you're doing it for. I usually do 40 drops in most of my adult rollers of a combination of oils or of the pure oil if it's just Serenity.
So it's definitely a human, and then Tertia would say 15 drops, and I'm like, that's not enough. But then I recently had to deal with an injury on my foot next. So after you helped me with an injury on Griffin's leg, I got injured on the Saturday myself with the same bruising, and I had to make a roller for myself now, and I had to go all the way up to 45 drops to really feel that's the support for my bruising. So I agree. I use that dilution chart for sure.
Hey everyone, I think we're wanting to keep these sessions fairly like accessible so that the recordings aren't too long for people to listen to and things. So unless if there's anything pressing, please shout, and otherwise we look forward to seeing you next week. And we hope you're all inspired to use your lavender and turn to it far more often. Any last comments or questions?
Thanks.
Thanks so much, Louise, for sharing with us. It was lovely to hear a little bit of your input and
Big
your
pleasure.
enthusiasm, and contagious, and lovely to hear a little bit more about what you do as well.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you. Have a
Louise.
lovely day.
Thank you, everyone.